The 10 deadliest pandemics that changed history forever. 10. San Francisco Plague. The San Francisco Plague, 1900 to 1904, was the first U.S. bubonic plague outbreak centered in Chinatown, causing 121 cases and 119 deaths. Governor Gage denied its existence, delaying action, but Governor Pardee stopped it by 1904. A second outbreak in 1907 led to swift measures, identifying rats and squirrels as disease vectors. 9. Hong Kong flu. The 1968 Hong Kong flu pandemic, caused by the H3N2 virus, killed 33,800 in the US and 1 to 4 million globally. Immunity from the 1957 Asian flu and better medical care likely reduced US deaths. The virus peaked in late 1968, mainly affecting those over 65, and re-emerged in 1970 and 1972. 8. Third Cholera Pandemic. The Third Cholera Pandemic, 1846 to 1860, began in India, killing over 1 million globally. In 1854, John Snow identified contaminated water as the cause, helping control London's outbreak. That year, 23,000 died in Great Britain, making it the deadliest cholera pandemic of the 19th century. Snow pioneered modern epidemiology. 7. Europe Smallpox Epidemic. The Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 1875, sparked a smallpox pandemic that killed 500,000, with many French soldiers unvaccinated. Smallpox caused millions of deaths globally, including 4.7 million in India, 1868 to 1907. After global vaccination campaigns, smallpox was eradicated by the WHO in 1980, marking a major public health victory. 6. American polio. Polio, a highly feared 20th century disease, caused widespread illness and death, peaking in the late 1940s with over 35,000 annual cases in the U.S. It paralyzed children and adults, requiring devices like the iron lung for survival. Vaccines by Salk and Sabin eventually eradicated U.S. cases by 1979. 5. COVID-19 Pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic caused by SARS-CoV-2 began in China in December 2019 and spread globally. The WHO declared it a pandemic in March 2020. By May 2023, the WHO no longer classified it as a public health emergency. Over 2 million people in Europe have died from the disease. 4. Tuberculosis Epidemic. Tuberculosis, TB, became epidemic in Europe during the 18th and 19th centuries and remains a global issue. The World Health Organization reports 10 million new TB cases annually, with 1.5 million deaths. TB and HIV/AIDS are closely linked, forming the TB-HIV syndemic, but specific historical epidemics are underdocumented. 3. Russia Typhus Epidemic. Typhus caused millions of deaths during World War I, the Russian Civil War, and World War II, particularly in Eastern Europe and Nazi camps. Epidemics declined with DDT and vaccines, though outbreaks still occur in war-torn regions. A 1995 epidemic in Burundi highlighted its persistence in crowded, unsanitary conditions. 2. HIV/AIDS Pandemic. The HIV/AIDS pandemic, ongoing since 1981, has caused 40.4 million deaths globally and currently affects 39 million people, with 75% receiving treatment. Sub-Saharan Africa is most impacted, housing over 2/3 of cases. Key populations, including sex workers and men who have sex with men, are disproportionately affected. HIV originated in Central Africa. 1. Spanish flu. The 1918 to 1920 Spanish flu, caused by the H1N1 virus, infected 500 million people globally, killing 17 to 50 million, possibly 100 million. Misnamed due to neutral Spain's reporting, it disproportionately affected young adults. Poor conditions during World War I worsened its impact. It was the first of 3 H1N1 pandemics. Which pandemic do you think had the biggest impact on shaping the world we live in today? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating historical insights.